I don't know if I should just keep it short or going on long. I'm gonna keep it short because I really don't feel like going on a rant. But the Many Saints of Newark, a very big disappointment. It was uneventful. I felt like nothing happened. It didn't really give answers as to how Tony became the way he became. It was heavily like mentioned that his mother was a huge cause of that, and yeah, but I didn't really see that in this movie. I didn't see the influence of Johnny Boy Soprano and Tony's life. I didn't even see a lot of Tony. It was basically just Tony as a kid for like, I don't know, 30 minutes or something, and then Tony as a teenager. But it was primarily about Dickie Moltisanti, and I'm completely fine with that. You want to tell a story about Dickie, that's fine. I'm 100% okay with it, but it didn't even tell much about Dickie either. Like, the only thing that happens is that he kills his father, and then he starts cheating on his wife with some girl or some woman, and he kills her for sleeping with a black man who has nothing to do with the story of the Sopranos. It doesn't really have anything to do with the story at all. Like, they have a conflict, they don't really resolve it, and then he dies. That's all that happens with Dickie Moltisanti. And it's a shame because I love Vera Farmiga. I love, what's his face? John Bernthal. And I think it's Michael Gandolfini, James Gandolfini's son. And he looks so much like him, but we didn't get much from any of these characters. Johnny Boy didn't really have much of a presence. Vera as Livia Soprano just felt like overacted. In fact, a lot of people felt like they were overacting. The guy who was trying to play Silvio, Paulie didn't really feel like Paulie. It was just a big nothing. Like the entire movie feels like it's being set up for something greater. Like this is like something that would happen in the first 30 minutes of the film, and then it would lead on to a climax or something. That's what the entire movie feels like, and that's where it ends. So it's basically building up and then nothing. I was really excited to see the story of Dickie Moltisanti, but all I get is him killing his father, which I learned that his father used to throw his mother down the stairs, and like that's more background. I love that. But then he goes to visit his uncle in prison for no reason because he wants to do a good deed, but he doesn't really have an importance in the film. He doesn't have an importance in the story of The Sopranos at all. And he has a gumar, or however you say it, but that's all he does. Like, we don't get much about Dickie Moltisanti at all. The one good thing that came out of this movie to me was how Dickie Moltisanti died. He was hit on orders of Johnny Soprano, and it makes sense for several reasons. For one, he was mocking him, and Junior strikes me as a very insecure person, and not only that, but he also wants to be boss one day. And when Johnny got out of prison, Junior was, being criticized for not being like Dickie Moltisanti. How Dickie Moltisanti, even though he had his father's tragedy, which it wasn't, he's the one that murdered his father, but he stepped up, and so he was looking at him like he was just looking towards Dickie Moltisanti instead of himself. And then he hurts his back, and Dickie Moltisanti is just making fun of him, and he complained about Dickie Moltisanti when he was trying to have sex with, I don't know if it was his wife or his gumar or whatever, but he was bothered by Dickie Moltisanti in that moment. And you take that with what you learn in The Sopranos, and how he was very upset that Tony Soprano was being considered to be the new boss after Jackie Aprile died, and he wanted to be boss, and he would have gone to war with his nephew. He would have killed his nephew just to be boss. So if he would be willing to kill Blood, then he would sure as hell be willing to kill Dickie Moltisanti. And I think the dumbest part of the entire film was Harold Breyer, whatever his name is, the black guy in the film. And it's so stupid because I thought something was gonna happen that would be more interesting, like maybe he was Dickie's friend, but then something happened between them. But no, he was just a guy working for Dickie, and Dickie looked, he was beneath Dickie in Dickie's eyes, and that bothered him, and he wanted to make something of himself. He wanted to go head to head with the mafia, just like Frank Lucas. But nothing ever happens with him. Like, who is this guy? Like, he has no importance in the entire Sopranos story. I don't think he's mentioned at all. The entire time I watched The Sopranos, he was not mentioned at all. And in this film, I thought it would have shed some light on who the fuck this guy is and his importance to Dickie Moltisanti or his importance to the story at all. But it wasn't. Like, they had a firefight and then they just walked away. what the hell was the point of that? I mean, if that's all that was going to happen, they could have scratched everything to show us more of Tony Soprano and how he became who he was. So yeah, very disappointing. The way The Sopranos is dragged out for 6 seasons, like, there's so much that they could have done. They could have made more movies. They could have made a trilogy, a Sopranos trilogy of what happened before, like everything that happened in the show. But no, this is what we got. Extremely disappointed. I will not be rewatching it. It was a complete piece of trash and shame. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. If you like this movie, I hated it. And if you disagree, please let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please leave it a like and subscribe if you have not already. And I will catch you in the next video next Friday. See you then. Bye bye.